Lucy is sticking to her guns no matter what. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with Fallout Episode 5. So last time, we got a lot of Norm, but no Maximus. And I guess that's kind of the trade-off there. We had an episode without Maximus for the first time this season. But instead, we're just given a lot more on Norm and even Chet, and kind of what the vault life is going through right now with elections coming up despite the water, running out. A lot of questionable choices that they're making here. And Norm, maybe Chet, but Norm mainly is the only one who really has his head screwed on straight. He's the only one questioning shit, the only one, actually trying to proactively do anything. And Chet's just kind of there along for the ride, especially at the one scene because, other girls giving birth. So, yeah. But the matter of fact is they are finding some crazy shit out. The implications have now moved into practical confirmation that the dwellers of Vault 32 became cannibalistic. And I don't know if this was a plan from Vault Tech. It very well could have been. Knowing Vault Tech, that could have been kind of part of the experiment of things. But either way, Vault 32's crops died out a couple years back. Because of this, their food supply ran short and they started going crazy. They started turning on each other. We saw examples of the fights that had happened. They started strangling each other. One guy was impaled with a foosball rod. And there was, again, the heavy discussion, especially with that, the video on the TV about rats cannibalizing each other. So it's like, oh yeah, it's not really implication anymore, not with a video like that. And on top of that, we find out that all of this happened before the Raiders even came. The Raiders had just kind of taken advantage of the entire situation when they got there. And we find out that the Raiders got into the vault using a Pip-Boy, because you need a Pip-Boy to get in from the outside. And they got in by using Rose McClane's Pip-Boy, Norm and Lucy's mother, who has been dead for years, we presume. And I've seen a lot of theories going on about this. I've heard a lot of theories about this, just as I've watched, reactions and stuff, because obviously the entire series was stupidly released at once, and a lot of people might already know things, but, I'm trying to avoid spoilers. But, as I'm watching along with, other people's reactions and stuff, I've heard, a few different ideas floated around. And they seem to kind of be some of the things I was thinking. Maybe their mother isn't dead. Maybe that was faked. Or maybe the both of the parents had some kind of connection with Moldaver. And the mom, she had her Pip-Boy, outside of the vault at some point. Maybe she went outside of the vault. A lot of different things. You get the idea. There's many different theories on what this could mean, and I'm curious to see what ends up becoming true, or just in general, what is at least hinted at. We might not get all the information this season. We know the series has been confirmed for, I think, just one more season right now, just the second season at the moment. But it's kind of up in the air as to if everything's going to be answered this season or not. Because it's like they might not have known they would get a second season, so who knows? I think we're going to get at least some answers. And we'll probably leave some things unanswered or maybe even have some new questions. Meanwhile, in the last episode, outside of just that, we also have Lucy being continued to be corralled around by the ghouls. She finally gives in and drinks some irradiated water, which in the game gives you some rads, but you can heal that with like Radaway, Radex, that kind of stuff. Don't know how that's going to affect things in this series, though. Unless, like, Radaway and Radex are going to make an appearance, and that's going to be important somehow. And it's just going to, get rid of that in this series as well. I mean, we've seen what Stimpaks can do in the series, how that's equatable, so... we see that after having a little moment where they take each other's fingers off, the ghoul takes her to a super duper mart, where he basically trades her to get some vials of this stuff. It's not really entirely clear. We could say a drug. This drug that will help him retain his sanity, basically. It keeps him from turning feral. The last episode had a big focus on ghouls, and especially the transformation into a feral ghoul. We see early on there's this guy named Roger that the ghoul knows, and we see that he's in the process of turning. So the ghoul reminds him of like nicer things, nicer times, with stuff like Blamco mac and cheese, apple pie and ice cream and stuff. And while Roger's thinking about all of this, having these good memories, the ghoul puts him out of his misery, mercy killing him in a genuinely good way. And I've noticed some other reactors realize this too, like that it was honestly the nicest, kindest thing he could have done for him in that moment. And yes, he goes right into like, eating him and skinning his ass meat for jerky afterwards, but I mean, you have to survive. It's like, it's technically food. In a situation, a world like this, you can't really be super picky. You know what I mean? It's not really that kind of situation where you can really fight against what you are given. It sucks, and it's fucked up in a lot of ways, but still. But yeah, so we see some other ghouls and stuff, but either way, at the Super Duper Mart, Lucy is sent in and is taken under the care of Snip Snip, a robot, a Mr. Handy robot, who tries to dissect her and harvest her organs. After giving her a new finger, it's like, a lot of reactors wondered, like, what was the point of that? Why give her a new finger if you're just going to harvest her organs? Maybe to catch her unaware? I mean, it didn't seem like necessarily a super, like mean-spirited thing. It's more like, oh, I'm going to harvest your organs because we could use those. That's more what it came across as. But then again, that might have just been the fact that it was a Mr. Handy, and they all kind of have that kind of, like, cheery personality. Also, the Mr. Handy Snip Snip was voiced by Matt Berry, who was Buttwitch on 12 Forever, the series that got canceled because the creator was an excessively terrible pedophile. Fun. The series was actually really good from the season that we got, and it was actually really creative and imaginative and fun. It just really sucks whenever a creator of any series turns out to be like that kind of terrible, fucked up person. Like, I don't understand how people can be like that. But that's not really the point here. I'm not going to get on an entire rant about that here. It's not Matt Berry's fault. He was just a voice actor in the series. He's done other things too, like Disenchantment, the Matt Groening series, and various other things here and there. So, yeah, there's that too. But yeah, he was Snip Snip. And Maddie Carteropol was in it as well. Maddie is one of those actors who it's just like you see everywhere. And you may never know his name, but you know his face. He's been in so many things. He's like one of those kind of chameleon actors who's just bit roles, minor roles in everything. I believe he was in Stranger Things. He was in a series of Unfortunate Events, the series, not the movie, and so on and so forth. He just appears everywhere. He was just some minor dude here who, him and his business partner, I guess, were working with Snip Snip for this entire transactional drug thing. They end up getting killed, though, because Lucy defeats Snip Snip, kind of reprograms him to have a Braxo in his needles, and then uses him to threaten Maddie and the partner into letting the ghouls out, including the feral ghouls, who attack, kill them, and just kind of like, you know, get killed themselves or run away. And Lucy has to get her first kill of the series with a newly transformed feral ghoul named Martha, who was barely holding on before turning. So yeah, again, fun. But Lucy does get out. She gives the drugs to the ghoul who is passed out outside. Basically tells him it's like, even if I end up looking like you, even if I become a ghoul, I'm still going to be me, morally and in terms of personality. And she walks off after giving a surprisingly badass line with Golden Rule, motherfucker. It's just like, that is a, for like, what you're basically saying is like, I'm going to remain good and be nice and, you know, treat others as I want to be treated. She somehow turned that into a badass line. I think it was partially Ella Purnell's performance there, to be honest. But yeah, so a lot of things happened last time, and now we're going to see what happens this time. I think this episode is one of the shorter episodes, so there might not be as much, but I'm hoping we get back to Maximus, see what he's going through with his new squire. But I also don't want to just abandon the other storylines either, so I guess we'll see. That all being said, let us just get into this. But before we do, I want to remind you all that we have a lot of awesome content on this channel for you to check out. Every Monday through Friday, we have a plethora of great reaction series, or series reactions, however you want to say it. And on Mondays, we also do YouTube or YouTube adjacent reactions. Basically anything that doesn't quite fit in as a series or a movie. And speaking of movies, we do movie reactions usually every Saturday and Sunday. I'll let you know now, there was some issues in recording this week, so there's going to only be one movie this weekend. Probably going to be on Sunday. But yeah, this weekend we will probably only get to one. But normally we do one every Saturday and Sunday. Just letting you know that ahead of time. We also do Let's Play content on the channel. Every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, we play through Spider-Man 2. Really enjoying this so far. If you're just going to be checking it out now, the first 9 parts, I will warn you, do have some audio issues, especially 5 through 9. But starting on part 10 and beyond, should all be fixed. Should be no problem. After that, we also on Saturdays are going through a donation reward Let's Play for Anno Mutationum. This is a reward for Matthew Vasquez, and if you wish to know more about how to donate for a PS5 Let's Play, all you have to do is check out the announcement video for PS5 game reward months. And I might actually be making another video just to remind everyone that this is a thing that's happening. So there might be another video even out today, the day this is being uploaded, that you can check out as well. And it'll probably be named something very similar. So if you honestly search up PS5 on the channel, you'll probably find both videos. So there you have it with that. But all of that being said, let's just get into this and hope for the best. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you... I need to slow down. Follow the link to the reaction, because yes, we do redirect all reactions on this channel. The reason for this is, you know, YouTube. YouTube tends to be pretty crap with its copyright rules. It's not good. Everybody agrees on that. So just to be safe, to avoid getting any possible channel strikes or, God forbid, having the channel terminated, I've dealt with that before, don't want it to happen again. To deal with that, we're just going to redirect everything. It makes it so much easier and avoids all that. I know it's not the most fun way to view a reaction. You don't want to have to click extra links, but it's just a way to stay safe. And on the upside, this does mean that all of you, yes, every single one of you, get to see the full, unedited reaction completely free. No paywalls, no Patreon, and you don't even have to sync up your own copy. You just go down to the link below, follow it to the page, and you watch the entire thing completely free. It's that simple, that easy. I think that's a pretty good deal, honestly. And after you watch it, you can come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts. And will not only contain spoilers to the episode, but just my general thoughts on the episode, the series, where everything's gone so far, and maybe a couple other things related to the channel. It's always worth checking out. So, that being said, as always, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, in the same way that Maximus wasn't in the last episode, and Thaddeus, I guess, the ghoul wasn't in this one at all. Like, just nowhere to be seen. Not checked in with him at all. I mean, I guess he's just, you know, recovering, reminiscing. Wonder how things are going to be when he returns. Gonna be interesting to see how all of that goes down and how he returns, and if he is going to end up being more of an ally moving forward than a semi-antagonistic force. This episode was huge, though. Like, this is probably the biggest episode yet in terms of, like, reveals and lore, and starting to capitalize on those setups. And this is the right point to have it, because this is the beginning of the second half of the season. Again, there's 8 episodes. Last time, episode 4, we finished off the first half. So this time, we kick off the first half, and again, lots of big reveals, lots of big information. And let me kind of go down what I think is the case here. Okay, so I'm thinking Lucy and her mother are from the surface. Probably from the New California Republic. Probably from Shady Sands. Vault 31, I think, is behind the bombing of Shady Sands. I know that sounds like a really random, out of nowhere theory, but this is absolutely setting up for Vault 31 to be the bad guys. Like, it's super blatant in my eyes. And it's like, if we're going to believe that Shady Sands and I guess the New California Republic are possibly, like, probably the good guys, or at least maybe not, like, good per se, but, you know, victims of things. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, like I said, Lucy and her mother were part of the surface, part of this community. And I'm thinking it was the same community that Moldaver was part of. Now, whether Moldaver was a leader at that time or not, don't know. But I'm thinking that was the case. Now, somewhere around this time, Vault 31, for whatever reason, probably found out that they could come to the surface. And for whatever reason, maybe it was Vault-Tech's plan from the beginning in some way. Maybe there was something with like whoever the overseer of 31 was at the time. But they decided to take out this community, steal their supplies, probably not necessarily in that order, and entirely fuck them over, probably including by stealing people, like kidnapping people from them. One of these people for Vault 31 was Hank McClane. This is also probably why the McClanes are known on the surface. Because Hank probably, fucked things over. This is also the same, we know this is the same place that Maximus is from. So this also caused Maximus to become an orphan and be adopted by the Brotherhood. But anyways, Hank kidnapped Lucy and her mom, took them as hostages, and forced Lucy's mom to be his wife in the vaults. They moved to 33, and they acted as if everything were normal, as if everything were part of the plan from the beginning. They pretended that Lucy and her mom were from the vaults. And this was like just an intentional part of the trade agreements that they normally do, right? And this was probably substantiated by the fact that all of Vault 32 or 33's overseers have always been from Vault 31. Probably the same as with 32. So the mother did eventually die, probably in that the crop issue that they had all that while back. That was probably true. She did die at that point. As for her Pip-Boy, getting back to the surface, I'm not 100% on that. Betty claims that it was buried with her, but I don't think that's the truth. I think maybe it was returned to Vault 31 and they started like maybe messing with it or something, and maybe at some point Moldaver and her crew like somehow invaded and got a hold of it. And the reason Moldaver came down here in the first place was to go after Hank because of what he did in the past. And they probably were trying to go after maybe everyone who was involved in that. Hell, they might have already gone to Vault 31. Betty claims that she talked to the overseer of Vault 31, but we don't know that for sure. We have no evidence of that. For all we know, Vault 31 could have been absolutely cleared out in the same way that 32 currently is. Hell, maybe it was destroyed and cleared out, but they're doing the same as they're currently doing with 32, and they refurbished it, populated it, all of that jazz. But I'm thinking that Moldaver is probably a leader of this new California Republic currently, or the remnants of what remains of them. That they're not, that they are, but they also aren't quite raiders as we initially thought. And that they're not the bad guys in all of this. They're survivors who are doing what they need in order to, survive. And again, this entire invasion of the vault thing was a revenge plan that they probably had going for a long time. I'm thinking that this means that Hank is not even Lucy's father. Like, they're probably not even related, if this is the case and he did kidnap them. Because, again, with the evidence we have in this episode, like, Lucy mentions she swears she felt the warmth of the sun on her face when she was a kid, like a baby practically. And it's like she wouldn't remember necessarily the trauma of being kidnapped and taken into the vaults that way. No. Not like 20 years into the future. It's like that definitely would have been purged from her mind. Especially with everybody telling her like she always grew up in the vault. She never would have thought of that. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking. Based on the information we've got in this episode. I think the mother is dead. The only other explanation is the mother is alive, that she escaped the vault at some point, and they just, pretended she had died and faked her death and burial. But in reality, she escaped the vault, and that's how she helped Moldaver and everyone get in. And that maybe she didn't come into the vault like during the big invasion in the first episode. Maybe because she had other work to do. But there's a lot of questions that would go into that. There's still a lot of questions no matter what. And right now, for sure, I don't trust anyone from Vault 31. It's made very clear you just can't. And that includes, I can't think of her. I can never remember her name. The blonde lady with the eye patch. It's like said her name multiple times, and I just can never remember it. But I don't, since we found out in this episode she was from 31, I don't trust her anymore. The funny thing is that we found that out right after I said that I think we could probably trust her. Like I was saying, like she probably would be on your side, and then it's like, oh, she's from Vault 31 too, It's like, oh, well, fuck that idea. Don't tell her shit. So, an interesting factor as well that I want to bring up is that my view on these characters have changed quite a bit. With like the first couple episodes, my favorite was the Ghoul, just because of the cool factor. Like, Walton Goggins gives a great performance, and he's cool and everything. I obviously liked Lucy, because she's adorable and nice and everything. Maximus is one who I've been waiting on to grow on me, because it's like I feel like he's a character who takes time to develop and grow and change, and he's still at that point where I'm waiting. I'm not exactly like super like hooked into him yet, because I don't feel like he's like fully doing anything yet. And I'm hoping that these last few episodes do a lot more with his character, because right now it's just been like, oh, he's upset at being picked on, so he becomes kind of the bully instead, but then is just kind of a little pathetic in some ways. It's just like there's not enough development and depth to him. And he comes across as a minor character comparative to the likes of Lucy and the Ghoul. And to Norm. Because Norm, when we first started the series out and met him in the vault and everything, he was just Lucy's brother. At first, that's all he was. He was Lucy's brother. Moises Arias did a great job, but he didn't have much else besides that. He was scared. He was, not really having this big of an impact. He was just Lucy's brother. But then these past couple episodes have done wonders for him, and honestly, he's now my favorite character. That is really weird to say, but he is currently my favorite character. And don't get me wrong, I still love the Ghoul, I still love Lucy. They're still my number 2 and 3. But Norm is like, I am just so on board with him. Moises Arias does a great job. Like, he did a great job at the beginning, but he's really selling me on his character in these latest episodes. And the fact that he's like going all in on this, working with Chet to try and solve the mysteries of these interconnected vaults, and just, you know, figure out this conspiracy that is probably rooted in a lot of horrible shit, because Vault Tech and, you know, nothing is ever good with the vaults. Nothing ever works out. Like, there probably is, but you've got to tell me, is there any vaults in the Fallout series that are just like, you know, actually wholesome? that actually end well? Because I don't think there are, at least none that I know of. It's like everything either goes wrong, everybody dies, everybody kills each other. It's an experiment that is just fucked up beyond belief. There's a panther in one of them. It's like, one of them, it's like, oh, all guys except for one girl. That's going to end well. Another one, all girls except for one guy. That's going to end well. That's fucked up. Hate that. Both of those I hate so goddamn much. But it's like, and most of these, by the way, I've heard of through like TikToks and stuff of people talking about it. Just letting you know. Because as I've said before, I've played very little of these games myself, and I've seen all of Fallout 4 played, but I don't remember that much detail, if I'm being honest. I just remember, like, notable things. But yeah. It's very interesting to see how they're developing his character. And I'm really curious to see how he continues to uncover this mystery. But I do think Betty is in on him. I think she can tell he's like looking into things, and she's trying to kind of put a stop to it. Hence this entire plan to repopulate Vault 32 and cleaning up all the evidence and all. I think she's trying to put a stop to this. I think she knows he's in on them, and she's trying to, you know, stop him from finding out any more than he already has. But I don't think she's going to actually do anything to him unless he gets way too close to the truth. And at that point, I don't know. I don't know. But my biggest wish for where this goes in the end is I want him to be the overseer. Like, I want Norm to actually become overseer. Because, one, he has good head on his shoulders. He's a good kid. I actually don't know. Is he supposed to be a kid? He's definitely younger than Lucy. Lucy is the older sister. Even though, actually, I think Moises Arias is older than Ella Purnell. He's just little. He's just a little dude. But yeah, he's like around my age. I think he's like 30, 31, something like that. In fact, I can look that up real quick. Moises Arias has been around for quite a while. He was in Hannah Montana and everything. Moises Arias. Come on, click the right thing. Yeah, he's 30. And now let me look up Ella Purnell. Yeah, she's 27. Moises Arias is older. But I think in the series, he's supposed to be the younger brother. He's, I think, supposed to probably be like 16, 17 years old, like a teenager. And Lucy's like 25 or so. He's an older teenager, but he's a teenager. He might be 18. Like, he might be like barely an adult, but that's the most I'll give you. The character is definitely supposed to be younger. That much is clear. But I want him to, like, somehow dethrone Betty. I don't know if, like, killing her is going to be part of that. But I want him to somehow dethrone her. Somehow stop Vault 31's control of 33 and take over as the new overseer. I don't know how that would be done, but that is my hope for the end of this season. Because, again, I think he would be a great overseer. He actually, gives a shit about things and isn't manipulating everything to his advantage. So, yeah. But at the end of this episode, we do see Lucy and Maximus, fall through the hospital floor after being decontaminated, and they end up in a vault. I don't know if this is supposed to be Vault 31, if it's a completely separate vault. Hell, for all we know, maybe this, is the new California Republic, what's left of them. Maybe we're going to see Moldaver here. I am very interested to see where this goes. This series has been fantastic. Absolutely fantastic so far. And this episode just gave us so much to think about. I do kind of wonder, how are Maximus and Lucy going to get to, oh my god, I said his name earlier. The little toady, the little shit. I know it starts with a TH. How are they going to get to him and get the head back if now they're in the vault and everything? So a lot of questions with that, too. A lot of questions. Because they have to stop him before he gets back to the Brotherhood. Or maybe they just won't. That's an idea. I guess we'll see. But in the meantime, before we close this out, I want to remind you once again that we have a lot of great content to check out on this channel. Every Monday through Friday, we have a plethora of awesome series reactions. And on Monday, we also do YouTube or YouTube-adjacent reactions. Basically, anything that doesn't quite fit into a series or a movie one. And speaking of movies, we do movie reactions every weekend, Saturdays and Sundays. They're recorded earlier in the week, but uploaded on the weekends just so that every day has something going on for it. And as a reminder, this weekend we're only going to have one movie reaction because of the issues that we faced over the course of this week with having time and ability to record. So yeah, only one movie reaction this weekend, but normally it's two. Just letting you know about that ahead of time. We also do great Let's Play content on the channel. Currently, we've been going through Spider-Man 2 every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Although we have put up on a couple of other days lately as well, just as some bonuses. Because, one, I have a lot of them already pre-recorded. And two, various other things because of how this week has gone. I just gave some bonuses just to put up to deal with the fact that we've had, a messy schedule and everything lately. But if you are new to it, if you haven't checked out any of that yet, just as a note for you, the first 9 parts do have audio issues, especially parts 5 through 9. It's just something I wasn't able to fix after recording. It was an issue with the capture and everything. It's fixed now. Starting on parts 10 and onward, it is fixed. I've got it figured out. We should be good moving forward. It was an issue that I had with the sync of everything, so apologize for that, but everything should be good from here on out. And on Saturdays, we are also doing a reaction, or a donation reward Let's Play for Anno Mutationum. This is a reward for Matthew Vasquez, and if you wish to know more about just how to donate for a game, there's actually 2 videos you'll be able to check out. There's the original announcement video for PS5 Game Reward Months, and there's a new video that's being put up on the same day you're seeing this. You can check out either video, or if you're seeing this at some point in the future, there's probably going to be other videos talking about it. You can search on the channel. If you honestly just search for PS5 on the channel, you should be able to find it with ease. It shouldn't be much of an issue otherwise. But those videos will tell you everything you need to know about how to donate for a Let's Play. It's pretty much just going to be PS5 because of the level of quality of my computer is not great enough for a lot of newer games. But yeah, if you want to donate for something, you can do so, and just check out those videos to find out how. Or I guess you can contact me on the Discord server or in the comments below if you really want to as well. That all being said, though, as always, thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, thoughts, please leave them down below. And as always, no spoilers for the future, please. There's a few episodes of this series left, and I don't want to be spoiled on what's going to happen in them. So I thank you ahead of time for not spoiling me or anyone else. That being said, thank you once again for tuning in. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.